Yeah, hey everyone. So today I will be talking about the purpose of replaying an execution. So with that, we'll provide an overview of use cases, best practices, and anything and everything in between to be able to get you to be set up with this underlying capability. So with that, I have the documentation overview right here and a couple items I just wanted to highlight before we got into a replay execution demonstration. So first things first, this is a pre-GA feature, so pretty net new. And the purpose of replaying an execution within an application integration process is to be able to mitigate and resolve some sort of transient failures, whether it's a networking failure, whether you have a system that might have been down for an update or whatever it may be. Maybe there's a set of processes that failed. So, with that, you may be in a situation where you don't want to have to deal with some sort of external system. So let's say it was an API call that called into an application integration process. Let's say a message was pushed to a PubSub queue. It was some sort of change data capture event from Salesforce. Mocking that external system functionality is oftentimes difficult. So with that, this is where replay execution comes in. So with that underlying capability, you can basically go to the execution logs, which you'll see in a second, identify some sort of transient or networking related failure, and be able to replay that execution as if it's a net new process, net new execution ID within that same logical construct. So same request payload and anything and everything in between that was sent to the underlying process that failed. So with that, just a couple considerations before I get into a demonstration. And the biggest consideration I wanted to highlight here is, again, we're going to replay the exact version of what was done previously. So if something changed with the data contract or items of that sort, that currently isn't supported within the replay execution functionality. It's coming as a part of our roadmap. But for now, we're going to replay the exact document, data, and metadata that was pushed through an application integration process. So here I am right now on the application integration overview build canvas. And if I go to my execution logs for some sort of failed process, what I will see as a part of my execution log context is I have this FTP integration that failed. So the use case for this process is I have some sort of message pushed from Salesforce via CDC. And in this situation, I did debugging, and what I determined is my underlying FTP service was offline for some reason, whether it was an update, whether it just wasn't available. My retry logic wasn't able to mitigate it in time. As you can see here, I have a failed process that took over 60 seconds, so some sort of connection timeout. What I determined, like I mentioned before, is the issue is resolved and that service is again back online. So what I can do with this underlying process is I can go to more actions, I can go to replay, I can give reasoning for the underlying replay execution. So I could say FTP server was down, is now active and taking requests. And I can replay my execution. So I can replay it, and there we go. So here's my old execution ID. It completed with the new execution ID. And what you'll see in a second, once I refresh my logic, is it succeeded. So everything worked to expectation, which is great.